Hello everyone, welcome to your reading today. So it's going to be a little interesting one. I wasn't sure what to do, and I do kind of like a meditation or just like a quick check-in with my guides before I start doing any kind of reading. And it was coming through with animals and pets. So you can take this as like a living or past pet, or a reading from, rather, or if you don't have any pets, spirit animal. So an animal that, how people say, oh, she or he or that person or this animal is my spirit animal. Kind of like that. The energy of the actual animal, though. So interestingly enough, we're picking with the Starlight cards, which is like kind of like a little affirmation sometimes. So we'll start with your piles. Before I do that, though, I'll introduce you to the crystals because they already wanted to come through, and I don't always use crystals. That's why I use the crystal cards, because it kind of covers both bases. But doing it a little bit differently today. So for pile 1, you have the orange calcite. So this is a raw piece of calcite. It's a little bit more orange. I just don't have a lot of sun today because it's really hot and overcast outside. For pile number 2, you have rhodonite. It's a little point. And for pile 3, you have a piece of tumbled tiger's eye. Okay, so we'll take a look at which cards, if you want to pick by cards. Oh, almost dropped them. Get a card for pile 1, please. Okay. Animals are like very, very particular. When I was shuffling them, because I like to shuffle before I start streaming, the what is it? What do you call it? The tarot cards that I was shuffling that I'm going to be using today. The one just flew out, and it was the 9 of Pentacles. Always a lovely card. Generally, like luxury, getting what you need. Being in a good position, that kind of thing. So it's like really lovely energy from animals, but of course they are, because they generally are a lot more loving, and you can see it as like unconditional almost. Very, very caring and supportive. Unless you're their prey, right? So let's take a look at your cards. So for pile 1, you have Replenish. The sun will rise and we will try again. Okay. For pile number 2, you have the dark. Take a moment to sit under the star-speckled sky, listening to the crickets and breathing in the cool night air. Okay. And for pile 3, you have unleash, hold nothing back, expand into the universe. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to leave these here for you. So feel free to go down below and jump straight to your video. Otherwise, yeah, take care and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, 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 pile 1. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the orange calcite with Replenish. The sun will rise and we will try again. This feels like a refresh, obviously, with Replenish, like filling up the cups again or being drained and then needing to recover in some sense. So really interesting straight away off the mark. The orange calcite, generally to me with orange, feels like, kind of like the sexual power center of like the sacral chakra, but also I feel like it's putting your own stamp on it, your own personal flavor, let's say. And maybe, like it says here, if something didn't work before, not to give up. I feel like your animal guides are like, I wouldn't give up trying to get something right. Those dogs that grab a stick and try to like smash it through the gate or whatever it is. They eventually will get it, or they'll figure it out. Or their owner will help them after they stop filming them, right? Okay, so we're just going to pop this over here and get you some cards So can I get a message from your pet or your spirit animal, please? And the decks we're using today is the Gateway of Light Activation, the Animal Kin, and the Spirit Animal, because of course, right? And also Curious Creatures, which has animals on it. So it's all very animal related, except this one doesn't have any. However, it really, really wanted to be called and come out. I was like, it doesn't have animals. I'm like, it doesn't matter. So, you know, I follow instructions sometimes. Okay, cool. It's always nice to get a message from the animals as well. They are, what would you say? They have a very different experience, right, to humanity. They don't have a voice, generally. They don't have the ability to kind of have their say or put their case forward. So we have to interpret it and have to be kind of like the keepers to their safety, their health, including nature and their environment, right? So it's really interesting. When I was picking what to do, it's so interesting because I never really have a clear idea of what I'm going to do a reading about. Sometimes something will pop up and I'll be like, cool, that's going to be a reading. Maybe today, maybe not. Okay, well, this one is definitely coming through. That one flipped up, so I think I'll flip it up in a sec. I am going to read these all upright, but I think this one kind of wants to stay reversed slightly. There's multiple reasons why that one is coming through, so I'll have a look at it once I get there, but I want to look at the whole situation, let's say. Yeah, these cards are flying out now. So yeah, these ones might come out reversed. I'm going to read them upright, and we'll see with these ones too. Generally, I read them reversed, but today I'm going with the flow, and I feel like sometimes it's going to be yes, reverse, sometimes it's going to be no, upright. And I always take what resonates anyway. This doesn't mean anything specifically. This is definitely me tapping into that energy. However, you got to go with what resonates because it is a collective or a group reading. Okay, so you have the crown chakra with divine connection, holy experiences, and miraculous energy. This is really sweet, this energy of this card. It really does feel like a blessing. Seeing yourself as a blessing, seeing the connection relationship, especially if it's a past pet. But even if it's a current pet, right? Like being grateful for the connection that you do have now or that you did have. It's hard when we lose someone or even a like friend, like furry friend, you know, family member, whatever you want to call it. They do have like a strong link with our heart. And even though these are feet, it does kind of feel like the heart and almost broken. And that's kind of where this was popping in to stay reversed until I get to it. So really interesting. It does look like it was a great experience, and your furry friend's definitely happy, probably on your team actually as a supporter. If not, definitely checks in. Do you know what I mean? Checks in. So if they passed and you had a pet, they're definitely back to say, hey, you know, I'm still here in some form. You're not actually without me. This is very recent. Very sorry about that as well. Ah, interesting. Okay, I'll try not to read them, but I can't. Yeah, you got the camel spirit with celebration. They're definitely having fun. They want you to also not just look back on it in a sad way, but look back on it was like, I would rather have that connection and lose it than not have that connection at all. Does that make sense? That's really how this feels, especially with this, because it was like, best buddies, right? And then reversed, it's just like it was heartbreaking or it was a bit of a loss. And now it's like time to heal. Look at that lady beetle or ladybug as we would call them here. It's got luck. So talking about luck, this was definitely meant to happen in a sense. It was like, yes, there was luck, but like the relationship or the friendship or the companionship in some sense is like a blessed connection. It really does feel like it. See, animals always have such good vibes. And even here, what didn't work is fine. Like, I feel like if you tried something and it didn't work out, or you are scared to go through this kind of like pain again by getting another animal, I feel like they are saying that, they don't hold any animosity. Even if you kind of scold like an animal sometimes, right? After a while, they're back to normal. They don't hold resentment. And I mean scold, not like abusive, but just like, tell them off for like eating your furniture or whatever. They might feel bad for that moment, but they're back to like getting you back on their side, right? And balancing everything out. And yeah, and it just feels like they don't want you to stop because the connection changed or shifted in some sense. Okay. You have the Panther Spirit with Reclaim Your Power. Yes. This is about recovery, celebration, feeling like this was a great connection. And now it's time, not now, but like it's also, once you're ready to, give yourself back that energy or that confidence in some sense, especially here too, because the Two of Cups, when it's reversed, does feel like a need to heal, not necessarily just after a relationship, but just like needing to like look after yourself and make sure that you're not, like I said with that, once you lose a pet, not wanting to go through that heartache again, so not getting one, you know what I mean? Another one later on. I feel like they're supporting you in that. If that's, if that's relevant in some way, this could be slightly different. It could be actually talking about human to human connections or relationships with like a romantic partner or something like that, where it didn't work out and it's like, they want you to get back to what will make you happy. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back into a relationship, but starting to feel like the confidence, that energy is back within you, because it's not lost, it's just not being tapped into in a sense. Aww. You are never alone. Like I said, they're definitely with you. This is almost a very emotional reading. This is really sweet. Look, if you felt like you did something wrong or you could have been nice or XYZ or could have done this, it's done. The past cannot be changed. They're not holding you like responsible for anything particular, even if it was like an accident or something horrible happened, or like, the door was left open or whatever the situation might have been, or even just like being, getting to a very old age, but just still wanting to keep the relationship going or something like that, keep the connection there. You're not, once they pass, that's not an end of a connection. That's just a body, not the kind of spirit of the animal, if that makes sense. But you're never alone. They're definitely with you. That is very clear. They just want what's the best for you, which is classic loving pet animal energy. They just want what's best for you. They don't want you to feel guilty or for you to go through anything specifically. They just want you to be like, hey, what a great relationship. It's done in the sense of like physicality, but it's not done in a sense of spirit, your soul, their soul, that kind of thing. Oh, what a lovely, lovely reading. Yeah, I've got the Ten of Swords as well. I feel like in partial there is a reverse aspect here of not wanting to let go of this and still feeling, certain ways, and you're allowed to. You're supposed to feel things, right? You're supposed to honor your own feelings. Look, when you're ready to it's not, when I say move on, I don't mean forget or just get over it. It's more like when you're ready to pick up and, take the lessons or take the connection for what it was and how happy, whatever it made you feel. Once you're ready to move on from, like, move with that, through that, however you want to word it, then go forward, because it's in your hands. I feel like it's already flipped up, and I feel like this is almost starting to flip up for you as well, which is interesting because that's not normally how it works in a group reading. But I think most of you are feeling relief or grief relief. What is it? There's something with this orange calcite. I just want to quickly Google. Yeah, it says here helps with integrating the spiritual realm, the physical body, but it also says here helpful with emotional issues. So I feel like that's where this is coming in. Okay. Also have the Knight of Swords. It feels like they're here to ride next to you, if that makes sense, or be next to you. Go with you. Even though there's no dogs here, I do feel like for some, there's definitely like a puppy or like a dog energy, a past dog. No dogs here. The cat definitely like popped up here, but like, I don't think that matters. It's not about the animals that specifically show on here, because you probably don't have, you know, a wasp pet. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe bees, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. It's just the animal doesn't have to specifically come out. And the funny thing is, this one doesn't have animals normally in it, and we got this dove here, so it was like divine feminine energy coming through as well. These were all reversed. Yeah, they want you to, again, look, your pet is telling you to make sure that you are being just as nice or kind or as friendly or as honoring towards yourself as you were towards the connection, as you are towards others as well. They want you to be looking out for yourself, but kind of standing strong within your own energy as well. She's also wearing black too, so it's like you don't have to be colorful or wearing anything specifically or doing anything wild to be seen. You just have to see yourself, essentially. It's not about other people's recognition, it's about recognizing yourself. Ooh, your pet's was like almost like an old soul. It's like your pet taught you as much as you taught them, in a sense. But it was definitely a blessed meeting to come through here with the ladybug or lady beetle here and luck. Just seeing if there's anything else. It's interesting they were talking about connecting the spirit and body. Look, I don't know specifically if you do any readings or any kind of like meditations or anything like that, but there's definitely like this air or energy of connection with your with your spirit animal or your pet, past pet, living pet. This doesn't have to be a past, you know, anything like that. It's just Replenish kind of feels like this refresh, this revitalization. Is that within you? Is it within the relationship? Is it within, you know, just you and connection with your spirit helpers or guides or whatever you want to call it? Take that with what resonates. They're ready to charge forward out of this like 10 of Swords. It almost feels like they're skipping the path of the Page of Swords and just going straight to the Knight, which is very focused, very like self, especially with this card next to it, the Six of Wands. It's like very self empowering, obviously, with the Panther spirit. So this is nothing that you have to claim back from anyone else. It's just something you have to realize within yourself again. But I feel like they're fine. They're enjoying their, you know, whatever happens in the afterlife, because you can get many different views from many different religions or spiritual people. But generally they always will come across with like an air of happiness, love, lightness. We don't have a body anymore, so there's no physical kind of anything really. We come here to have a physical experience, which can come with complications, right? Difficulties, but also, you know, fun as well, like the sense of touch and smell and that kind of thing in many different areas, whether that's within work, relationships, you know, gardening, whatever, hobbies, you know, lots of things we touch, we smell, we, you know, all the senses. So we get that as a kind of like a blessing. And I don't know why I'm going on about this, but it just feels like that's what your pet really wants you to do, is really enjoy, feel into life itself and continue forward. I feel like if you are looking for another pet, this is a sign, or if you were thinking about it, but you feel like you should have to have a certain amount of time before you get another pet. Although it could have been years, could have been weeks, could have been months. That's determined by you, right? They're not judging whether, your love for a pet isn't based on how long you grieve or how long whatever. People deal with things differently. And that just wants to come through as well. But also, they're still there. So you might be grieving for like a physical body, but the spirit's there. Obviously, it's different for us because it's hard because we want to, cuddle and pat and walk and whatever with our animal friends. Okay, really, really deep and interesting one. This is definitely about you. This is a time for you. This is a time for whatever you've got going on forward from here. But if you're putting yourself in like the top position, let's say, or like in high esteem, that's when this will be at its strongest and best. They do feel like this is still a connection that's still there for them as well, even though we can't see each other or we can't see them. In other words, I don't know how they can, if they can see us. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how exactly it works, right? Have some ideas, but those are just ideas. But I do know that they're definitely still connected to you in some way. But a lovely message. Hopefully that helps you, pile number one. I know it's probably a little quick. I'm not too sure, but this was a sweet message of love and self-empowerment and moving forward. That's really the key takeaways from this reading. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen the Rhodonite. I really like this piece. It's very soft. I don't know if that means anything, but anyway, it's very gentle is what I want to say. So you've also picked the card with the dark. Take a moment to sit under the star speckled sky, listen to the crickets, breathe in the cool night air, which is really interesting because when I was shuffling, because I'm working with animal spirits, generally stuff goes flying. And, of course, something went flying. And it was the Four of Cups coming through. So it has kind of that air of disappointment in some sense, or maybe something disappointing. I don't know if that's the energy of how you're feeling. It's definitely not their energy, like your spirit animal, past pet, current pet's energy. It's just that's how it feels. All right. And it's interesting with the dark because the darkness or the dark is feeling like almost like sitting in the void with your feelings and just taking a breath and really not really seeing, but just understanding how you're feeling, right? How things are feeling, because that'll help you decide what to do moving forward. Interesting. I don't know if your pet's going to give you some kind of like actual guidance or if they just have a message from themselves, but generally pets are very loving and caring and just want what's best for you. They're not going to talk about themselves generally, unless it's to help you, right? They'll say, yeah, I'm good, I'm feeling fine, there's no more pain, which I 100% believe, because how would we feel that kind of sensation without a body? How can we smell, touch, taste, that kind of thing without a body, right? And the spirit lives on, as it's generally colloquial said, and I believe that, once we do go or remove ourselves from our body, that we do feel we lose those kind of pains, that kind of stuff. We have a different perspective and look on life, but we wouldn't have that if we weren't here. Okay, interesting. And that's kind of like where the darkness is coming through, taking a breath, clearing your head, breathing, taking in the cool air, that kind of energy, which cool air would be nice because it's very hot here. I feel like we're starting summer early, which is not great. All right. Also, the rhodonite does come through with like energy of, you know, how I said it was soft or caring or like nurturing in some sense. Does kind of feel like it helps with clearing old wounds, like old stuff, old energies. That could have also been another reason why you may have picked the second pile. Okay, so these ones may come out reversed, but I am reading them upright. Yeah, you definitely want to come. Okay. All right. I like this one wants to come out, so I'm going to put it to the side. And we'll see. This could be like a clarifier or something like that, so I'll just put it down here. Now these I'll read upright. These, sometimes I read reverse, sometimes upright. It's just really how the energy feels. It's not about me deciding. Technically it is, right? Because I am part of this reading. But, you know, just trying to explain how the process works for me. Oh, I do love this. Okay, so you've got the Holy Grail with inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Interesting. Yeah, this is like your spirit animal or your pet is giving you a pep talk, it feels like. You've got the hummingbird with be here now, and it's reversed. It does feel like a need to be present, be in the moment. How do you do that? Ground yourself, connect with the earth, or go connect with animals, right? Connect with pets. Start to review what you're thinking about, not like review as an analyze, just see what's floating around in your head. You pick the darkness, everything that you kind of want to be or think is unattainable because it's outside of yourself is actually all the feelings and everything like that is from within. How do I word this as like an example? It's like seeking a new house or something like that and feeling like lack because you don't have a bigger house, but you have a house, it's nice, it works, that kind of thing, and just wanting that house. But what are the feelings behind that? What's your feelings about this new house? What do you feel when you picture yourself in that house? It doesn't mean that it's always within, but I think understanding certain aspects of why you want something, not because it'll bring this, because then again it's like, well, what's that this? Like if it's money, because I can buy this something, then what is that thing? What is the last point of where that money or that thing exchanges? What is that bringing you? What kind of feelings does that bring you? Really interesting kind of way of wording a lot of this, but the answers are it's either from within, or even if you want a relationship so that they can fix or make you feel whole, that energy comes from within as well. So sometimes getting the external thing does help the internal thing, but essentially you can be given everything you want in life and still feel like something's missing, and that's because it has to be worked out within you, not from without you, from the outside of you. What is your pet, like a philosopher? Okay, interesting. Alright, I'm fine. Also, you got the bat spirit. This is cute. Kind of remind me of the hangman. It says a rebirth is assured. Yeah, change is needed. You're going to get what you need to move forward. You just have to understand why you want what you want and what are the feelings that you're needing to feel, essentially, and understanding. It's like a really deep dive within. So yeah, interesting. You've got the cardinal with passion. Another bird, like wing, wing, wing. Lots of winged beings. Interesting. Okay, I can't pick it up. Here we go. All right, you also have sensuality, which is interesting. It's starting to feel. This is one thing this is just what's popping up. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, but in some spiritual areas, like wanting things is seen as a negative thing. I don't think wanting things is a negative. I think understanding why you want these things and working towards goals and that kind of thing is a great path to choose, essentially, because this is why we're in a physical body. We didn't come here to go back necessarily while we're here, right? Because we could just do that. It's more about enjoying, understanding, playing, and feeling, sensing, all that kind of stuff. It's really, the readings are really touching on the senses, because that's what animals do. They sense their environment, right? They feel the vibrations. They use their whiskers to like measure or like, measure whether they can get through a space, like a cat. They use their wings to fly, like their arms, their whatever. They're very tactile. They open things with their teeth or their hands or whatever animal we're talking about. So it's just like they use a lot of their senses, their keen eyesight, their camouflage. It's all very much based off the environment that they live in. They evolve in that kind of sense. Whereas same with humans, but we are kind of different, right? We're just very different. So it's just interesting with that coming through, and I think this is giving you the zest and the vibe for life. So rebirth is assured. Look, it's going to come through even with, it's kind of like something in your life is wanting to be shifted or changed. This guide, this animal definitely feels like a guide, like they've turned into a guide if they weren't a guide while they were alive. If they're still there, they're guiding you to give you back your sense of life and sense of being alive. Okay. Right, so you have the full 2.0, and this is like, the full is this deck has two fulls, has the full and the full 2.0, which just makes me think of like, if something didn't work out, that doesn't mean that's it. Or even if something didn't necessarily get started, it's like you can always start the new process again in a different way. Or even if you haven't started it before, just starting it, starting it anew, starting afresh. The bat's telling you that they want you to be in the moment. They're both reversed. That doesn't mean they stay there. That's just a time to like slow down and start feeling into who you are, like in a discovery. This is a deep dive. Okay, stop going on about Page of Wands. Yeah, there's definitely something more creative, something more enjoyable, something that you really want to get into with life. And it comes from you, right? It's your hobby, it's your work, it's whatever you want it to be, really. It's your relationship, it's a new relationship, it's new friendship, etc. and so forth. But they're ready to dive in. She's like, woo. Your guide with the salamander, especially in tarot, the salamander is protection. So it does feel like you are protected on this path. So if you feel like there's risks, always trust your intuition, but make sure that it's your intuition and not your fear or shadows trying to be like, maybe we shouldn't do that. We're safe at the moment. You know what I mean? Okay. You have the Empress here. She was kind of reversed. I do feel like partially some of this is reversed, but it's starting to feel into your feminine energy for sure with this card. Doesn't mean it's all about feminine energy in this whole reading, but definitely starting to feel again. And maybe that's by way of I don't know, getting in touch with like youthfulness as well with these little chicks. The butterflies are all over this as well, so it's definitely a change needed, or a change starting to help. And yeah, okay. And you got the Three of Cups, celebrating and enjoying. This is with friends, family, maybe even the connection that you had in the past with this pet. If you were thinking of getting a new pet, obviously trust your circumstances, but go forward with that, because there's no judgment here. They just, like this guide or this animal really just wants you to get back in touch with who you truly are. That's the main message here. Like, look at this. This is a good draw. This is like a top quality kind of energies. They were all reversed. but I feel like they want you to feel into these energies. Yeah, look at that. And now you have the Lizard Queen going forward. But like, this is going forward with passion, with vibe, getting that fire back in your life with this little cardinal. Even the sensuality with the gecko. It's kind of a weird animal to be talking about sensuality, but anyway. The sensuality is like feelings, right? Our senses, our sensing things. And passion's about doing what is going to give us life. So that's like, be here now, rebirth's assured. You're not going to be stuck. You're not going to be stuck. Go forward with what is going to give you power and energy. And I don't know, I just feel like they're cheerleading you on. How do you do that first? You don't have to go out and sit out in the stars and listen, but what that's really talking about with the dark is focusing on certain senses. You know, you do that when you're doing breath work. You're focusing on the breath going in and going out. What does it do when it goes in? It goes into your lungs. Gets distributed, the oxygen gets distributed throughout your body by cells. I can't remember what they're called. You know, blood cells and that kind of thing. Not a biologist, not a doctor, but you know, that kind of stuff. It's just like, and then you're feeling into it and thinking about it, and then stopping your mind or slowing it down. Let's say, probably can't really stop our mind; it's impossible. But stop, not focusing on the mind is probably better than what I was thinking, and just listening. Feeling the wind on your skin, that kind of thing. You'll be like, what does that have to do with connecting with self? It's just connecting with your senses. So then you can really feel into how you're feeling. You can feel into what is important in life, what you're thinking about. It's just a way to be centered, literally be in here now, be in the moment. Because you can be doing all sorts of different things in the world. You could be like, you know, running or like, I don't know, in a big fair or something like that. And if you're not in the moment, you're thinking about dinner or how we're going to get home because there's like heaps of people here. I want to make sure I get to the car and leave before the parade finishes. You know what I mean? That's someone that's in a place where it's fun or enjoyable, but they're not in the moment. They're thinking about what the future holds. Which is smart sometimes, but also it misses out on opportunities. And I think that's where this message is coming through and wants you to start doing now. Okay. I think that's it. Also, if you go by angel numbers, there is a 33 here, which is interesting. It's 30, 33, 34. 3. Lots of 3s. 3, 3, 3, 3. Anyway, hopefully that's helped. Of course, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading today. So really, the stones and the messages really touched really well. I didn't obviously plan what was going to come out, but I already set, you know, pile 1, 2, 3 with the stones, and I was just like, oh wow, these are really, really smart. Like they really match in. Anywho, so you've picked the Tiger's Eye with Unleash. Hold nothing back, expand into the universe. So definitely about empowerment. If there's any internal conflicts or anything like that, this feels like this is going to be a message to help clear that. Okay. If you were in any doubt of anything, yeah, your past pet animal guide, spirit animal is coming through. It also is a really good grounding energy crystal with the energy of the sun and also earth. But it definitely does feel like fierce energy from the Tiger's Eye today. I've had some interesting readings just the last well, there's only 2 others besides this one. However, it does feel like they were really touching on a message from, the spirit animal, but also a message for you and sometimes a message about them. So it's a bit of a mix. So whatever comes through, I just go with, and whatever the thread I pull on, I just follow that. I don't try to go, oh, this is going to be about this, even though I'll give examples that may touch on it. However, you got to essentially make it fit into your truth. Okay, there's not enough space, but I'm going to take these 3 because that one wanted to come through. Yeah, these 2. But otherwise, the messages have been really nice, really soft. It is spirit animals, animal guides, pets. They're generally much more kind of unconditional loving in a sense. Like actual unconditional love. Okay. So your first card is the Sword of Light. Divine Protection, Cords Cut, Breakthrough Energy. You got Breakthrough Energy with Unleash. If you were thinking, maybe this is about something, this is definitely about something, right? This is definitely touching on some big energy to go forward with. You also have the Jaguar with Intention. So interesting next to the Tiger's Eye. Obviously a different animal, but part of the feline, or what do we call them? Feline animals? I can't remember what it's called. Feline, is it? Whatever. But intention. So what are you working towards, and is that exactly what you want? And does it feel right? Because this is like potent energy. The cutting cords feels like worries about things not working out, or fears, or like, but what if I can't do it? Like that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, then of course, if no one tries, then you stay where you are. If you don't try anything, you stay exactly the same as you always are going to be. But if you try and fail, at least you've learned something. If you try and succeed, well, there you go, you've actually succeeded. But success and failure can kind of intermingle, right? If I fail at something, I've learned a lesson, which is a success. So, or if I've succeeded at something, sometimes that can be like a failure because now I'm stuck into doing this for a while, and then it's not really a failure, but you know what I mean. Sometimes our first perception isn't actually like where we need to go to get to where we want to be, or who we want to be, or express ourselves in a particular way anyway. Okay. Yeah, you're getting a lot of protection. You've got divine protection with the bear spirit with protection. So you're safe. I would say that it's almost impossible to fail, essentially, with the amount of strong energy guiding you towards where you're going. Your spirit animal, guide, whatever you want to call it, pet, is definitely one that has like fierce energy, I want to say, like strong energy. Could be a cat with these 2, the tiger's eye as well. Okay. Bam, let it shine. Yeah, this was coming through a little bit too when I can't remember what I said. Sometimes I forget what I say. But definitely like expressing yourself. That's what I was talking about, something or rather along the line of expressing yourself. And the peacock lets their true self shine, their authenticity. You're definitely being guided towards this, probably not just by your animal guide, but your guides, maybe even higher dimensional beings that you work with, like if you're religious, with God, with the universe, or even with like deities, angels, etc. So yeah, lots of support. You've got wasp with sometimes life stings. Interesting, wasp coming through. And you've also got the rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. So that's why this is kind of like covering these 2 in some sense. It's like, if you believe that this is a good time to move forward, then it is, right? Interesting with 64 and 46, 64. It's just, 4664. It's just interesting. You've got a lot of 4s because this card is 48. This is 40. You got 64, 46, and 49. So it's like, there's a 4 in everything, essentially. but it's a good time. Sometimes things don't work out for a reason, right? Sometimes we lose each other or break apart from a relationship or lose a loved one or even a pet, and that's hurts, right? But having the blessing of being in that contact and that relationship in due time, when it's like reflected back on, maybe in the moment it's like, I wish this never happened, but in due time or like in the future, if you didn't go through some of the challenges that we go through, we wouldn't be who we are. And we can't change the past anyway, so we may as well go forward with what we have in this moment. Okay. You have the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, definitely moving forward with something that you wanted to begin. If this is like completely out of like just animals, like something that you wanted to open up, like a business or something like that, or start creating, or doing something more sensory or tactile, then start doing that, because like do it now. Like it's almost like that's the energy. Obviously, this is just the guidance. You take what resonates, and if you need some more time, then you need some more time. But if you need some more time because you're like, I don't know, this might be your push, because they're like, go, go, go. You've got the Seven of Pentacles. Interesting coming through with sometimes life things. Sometimes not everything goes to plan, right? Certain things that were in the cards didn't happen. And this happens, right? We book holidays sometimes and then COVID hits, or something like that. So you can complain about it or cry about it or whatever, but we don't have full control. We can set things in the future, but we never know what's going to happen that could change it. Generally, most things go forward, right? But sometimes you have to take kind of like a leap of faith or just be patient with how things work out, because they could have helped us avoid a toxic situation or a negative situation that would have been a harsh lesson rather than, what you went through instead. All right, and you've got the Two of Pentacles. Great message here. It's all about balance. This is what all this is. Like, if you feel like you're too overwhelmed by a lot of this energy, then that's okay. You're not being forced to rush into anything. They want you to go forward. That's fine. Guides, animals, everyone, that kind of thing may have ideas of what you should and shouldn't do. However, you're the human, you're the incarnate. You decide what you do. That's my 2 cents. But the purpose and reason why they're pushing forward to this is helping you shine aspects of who you truly are. And that can be with art, that can be with music, that can be not creating it necessarily, but even just listening to it. Starting to research a new culture or religion or way of being. It's not about anything other than what's interesting you or piquing your interest. And the rabbit's coming through with like, this is a good time. They're all upright. Sometimes things don't always work out, and that doesn't mean you don't try again or do anything about it. That just means, it didn't work out. And what did you learn from that? What was the key takeaways? Even if it's something small, even if it's just like, I'll never do that again. Great, then you won't do it again. But I will say you're definitely guided and protected through this. So let's say worst case scenario happens, it'll still be a lot less impactful or dangerous or heavy than what it would have been, without your guidance being kind of like helping in a sense. I will say good things take time, so better to start now than to wait. Is this dirt on there? No, it's just in the card. Sometimes these cards are really funny because it looks like there's a crease there as well. So that's just making me think of this could have been folded up. Like not a real crease, but like, let's say metaphorically, like something was closed and now it's time to open. And just remember the good energy, the good connection you have with this animal, even if it's a pet that you currently have or a past pet, because I feel like they're supporting you to just be yourself, move forward, grow, literally expand. And what is expanding? It's feeling into many different areas of like what life has to offer, and then taking what feels right to you and going on forward with that. But you can't know unless you experience it or read about it, or generally we're more physical and want to experience it. But whatever works for you. Go forward. Got the B, 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 B. Lots of oranges here, so definitely touching in on sacral, yellows. What's that other one? Solar plexus, chakras. Okay. That's what I see in your reading today, pile number 3. So just to kind of sum it up, I feel like this card kind of sums it up essentially. I could have just finished the reading, but it's like your guides, your animal, past, present, future, whatever, really wants you to move forward with the plans that really help you be you, regardless of, even if it's like going to help you let yourself shine, but then you get shunned by certain people, right? That's just the universe removing those people out of your life for a purpose, right? And a reason, because you don't resonate with them anymore. And that's okay, you don't have to resonate with everybody all the time. If you want to look up 4s, because you have so many 4s here, please do. But that's what I see. So thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next reading.